Hello there and welcome along to Why Engineering. I'm Rhys Phillips and this is the show where I get to talk to inspiring young engineers about what they're doing in their careers and how they got to where they are today. Now, I'm Welsh but coming to you from France and this is a truly European show. So today we go over to Germany from where I welcome my guest Frederik Schulze Spüntrup. Frederik, thanks very much for joining me.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me, Rhys.
So tell me a little bit about then your background. Do you remember when it was that you first started becoming interested in engineering?
Yeah, actually, I think it was rather coincidental. I wanted to study something related to chemistry because that was my favorite subject in school. And in Germany, we have programs that combine an apprenticeship in the company together with bachelor studies. And at that point in time, I was applying to a big company called Bayer, producing pharmaceuticals, materials, and so on and so on. And it just happened that in that year, they did not offer this dual course of study in solely studying chemistry. So I got into chemical engineering, which for me was like probably very related to chemistry. But it ended up actually that I thought, well, chemistry is interesting, but standing in the laboratory all day is terrible. So even in the progress of my undergrad, it's still related to chemistry, but I haven't seen a chemistry lab in the past 4 years of my studies. So this was how I got into engineering by accident, but I'm very, very happy that it happened.
I can relate to that a little bit actually, because I also having studied maths and physics, the physics part of my degree also involved laboratory sessions, which not only were I was just rubbish at them, frankly, my results were always wrong. My measurements were never right, so my results always came out badly. But also, really not what I enjoyed. But so this is clearly an interesting way that you can join the engineering sector. So tell us a little bit about what happened next for you.
Yeah. So since I decided that chemistry is not exactly the stuff I like about chemical engineering, I moved a little bit towards a different path. And I studied my master's in process systems engineering in the United Kingdom, which is still chemical engineering, but more related onto how to simulate and optimize chemical systems. And that actually also led me into doing a PhD in engineering cybernetics, which is even more on the mathematical side of optimization, which can be used in all kinds of systems. For me, still in the energy related or process related area.
And was there something in particular that drew you towards this kind of towards the energy sector?
Mm-hmm. So I believe actually energy is one of the biggest challenges of our modern society. If we would solve the entire energy problem, many, many things would become better. Like, I don't know, recycling is a big issue we have. But if we had unlimited energy, wouldn't be a problem anymore. So I believe working on the energy usage we have right now is very important, but also the research into novel kinds of energy sources.
Now, what's really interesting here is you started with that laboratory experience, the very practical side. You've gone down more into this theoretical side, so becoming really more involved in the theoretical details, the numbers, the calculations, the mathematics behind it. And now you're moving into a completely different area again. So tell us about the sort of the latest phase of your career.
Yeah, well, actually, it started quite in the beginning. So when I started working in the company as a reliability engineer, it was already, we can use engineering solutions that are, let's say, state of the art and very, very good, solving all the problems. However, at the end of the day, it always boils down to, is this solution economical too? So at that very early point in my studies, I decided already to sidetrack a little bit and go into business studies. And I continued that all the way through. So in the meantime, when I started my PhD, I conducted part-time studies for management in business administration. So I finished this right now. And I actually really like still the technical side. However, I always try to combine it with, is this economical? Is this viable for a company to do this? And that's the reason why I'm transitioning into consulting now.
Okay, and for those that perhaps are not really aware of what that means to go into consultancy in this kind of sector, give us an example of the sort of typical type of activity that might involve.
Yeah, for example, let's say a big company would think about, well, we have some kind of maintenance activities we conduct in our own workshops. So a company could ask right now, is it the clever thing to do this in-house? Maybe we should do this externally and we get other people that maybe are more skilled with that. So there's always a trade-off between doing things by yourself. So this means you have basically no delay in this. If something breaks down in the night, your people in the workshop will be there and you don't need to call another company. But sometimes external companies are cheaper, of course. However, in the end, you can't just say, because it's cheaper, I want to outsource it, because there's always some kind of strategic reasoning within that. So either you want to protect your intellectual property, or something is so relevant for your business that you could not rely on external companies, because if they have issues or somebody pays them more to do this, you still need the service. So this is something where a company would now ask a consultancy, what do you think? What should we do? Please develop a framework on how to make a decision what is the best for us right now.
And what are the sorts of skills and techniques that you've picked up through your studying of engineering up until now that you'll then be able to use in this role, which is slightly less technical in a way, but presumably the reason you've moved into it is because it matches the skill set that you've built up over the last few years.
Yeah. So I believe actually engineers are very well trained for this, because engineers are by nature problem solvers. And this is just not the problem that your own company has, but another company is telling you, hey, I have this problem, how to solve this. And I believe this is one of the key abilities I trained during my entire engineering studies. From, for example, when you work on a research thesis, you also have some kind of question that needs to be solved, and you try to find creative ways of solving this. So engineers are very structured. They are driven by rationale, which I think is very, very important, driven by data, not solely emotional things. But this is also maybe the one thing engineers should think about. If you want to transition into something, let's say, like consulting, you will need a lot of people skills. And this is something engineers sometimes lack. I don't want to say all the time. However, you can train this. And there are great opportunities out there, for example, the European Young Engineers, where you have a network of people that also are interested in, let's say, more the people side.
Okay, well, finally then, Frederik, if there are some people watching this who are perhaps coming to the end of secondary school, trying to understand what are the sorts of subjects I should be studying to put myself in a position where I might be able to have this sort of career, or indeed maybe students at university who are studying one of the sciences, the more natural sciences, and are not really sure how they could apply that into the engineering world. Do you have any advice for them?
So I believe to study engineering, it's helpful to study something technology related or mathematics, physics, something like that, all the STEM subjects, of course. But in the end of the day, I believe you should always do what you really like. If you like something, you will be good at that and you will find your way no matter what you have been doing. So I'm German, so I really like planning things out. But at the same time, I realize all the time, it's good to have a plan, because then you're moving into a specific direction. However, on your way, on your path, the direction will change manifold. So it's good to have a direction, but you shouldn't be too concerned that the direction might not be the perfect thing, because you will always find a way. And as long as you stay motivated because you do the things that you love, you're in the right way.
Okay, Frederik, thanks very much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
That's it for this edition of Why Engineering. If you enjoyed that, do let us know by liking the video and leaving a comment below. We'd really love to hear from you. I'm Rhys Phillips, and until next time, goodbye.